This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
Peace and love is the key.
You are now about to experience the J&J-Life podcast with your host, Reya'Sekhmet.
But my name combines Rhea, which means a connection to Ra.
J&J-Life podcast. Please
smash that like button. Peace and love is the key. What's happening, Aakhu'Ra family? Peace and love is the key. I'm Reya'Sekhmet, also known as Rey'Sekhi. Thank you for tuning in to the J&J-Life podcast, where we explore the sacred wisdom of our Kemetic ancestors and awaken the divine light within us. And family, it's time to awaken the ancient Kemetic wisdom, the healing power and energy, and the superpowers that already live within you. Yes, you family. I want to thank the ancestors, the elders, for all they have done and are doing. Peace to Baba Efendisi Juhutimus, Queen Afua, and definitely Baba James Small. We have Baba Celestina in the discussion, and coming from you from Maatkara Studio here in Des Moines, Iowa. And yes, family, you heard that right. I carry the powerful energy of Sekhmet, the warrior, in my name and my spirit. And don't worry, we'll dive deeper into the meaning of names later in the discussion. Today, we are honored to speak with someone who has a divine healer who walks in Ma'at, embodying truth, justice, harmony, balance, order and arrangement, reciprocity, and righteousness in everything she does. She's an author, a truth teller, a priestess, an African holistic health consultant, spiritual warrior, educator, and a mother, to say the least. So without further ado, it's an honor and a divine blessing to welcome the spiritually gifted Auntie Rekhit Kajara Nebthet to the show. Thank you, Auntie Moo, for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me on your show today.
How are you feeling today, Baba?
Aakhu'Ra and Grand Risings family, and dua to you, Rey'Sekhi, for having me again on the J&J-Life podcast. And family, as we always do, I want to give reverence to the ancestors and the elders for all they have done and are doing. With that said, I'm indeed honored, Rey'Sekhi. We are beyond honored, family, as we have Sister Kajara on the J&J-Life podcast, who, by the way, is such a phenomenal mind and spirit, as she assisted me with the discovery of my new name, my full name, Aakhu'Ra Pasa Unk. Nonetheless, family, I look forward to the discussion and learning from the wisdom of Sister Moot as she talks about our ancestors and walks in the sacred balance of Ma'at.
Ashe.
Ashe, Ashe.
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 Okay, so family, with the housekeeping out of the way, let's get into the questions. So Auntie Moo, you help and heal and reconnect to the energy of our ancestors. And that's why you remind me so much of Sekhmet, who uses her power not just to protect, but to heal and guide others. Outside of your divine name, and we'll get on into that after this question. But will you share with your family your divine experience by telling the family a little about yourself and your journey to becoming who you are today?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you all again for allowing me to be here to share with you and your listeners. I am Rekhit Kajara Nebthet, and I'm the founder of the Rey'Sekhi Temple. And I have been on this journey since the beginning of my life. As long as I can remember, I have had spirit guides around me. I was an only child, but I never felt alone. And so I knew that there were, I thought they were angels. And then later I learned about spirit guides and ancestors. And then I understood that I probably had some of that type of energy around me as well as a child, because I just had, guidance to do certain things and to be safe. Things may have happened, but I would get a warning, some voice inside of me or a voice I would hear in my head or my ears telling me to don't do this or don't do that or to do something. And so I began to listen to the voices. I understood because in one case, listening actually probably saved my life. And not just one case, but when I was younger, um, I understood that if I listened, that I would be safe and I would be okay because I had this voice that was warning me. And so I was an avid reader when I was young. I read probably half of the library for the books at my age when I was your age, when, elementary school. So I did skip a few grades and ended up graduating high school when I was 16. Went on to college and graduated. And I actually became a mother while I was in school and college. And I also became, I would say, more conscious and aware of Black history. I grew up in Chicago, so we learned a lot of Black history in Chicago.
Yes.
Thankfully, we had Black teachers. We had Johnson and Johnson, who put out the Jet magazine,
Yep.
and they always talked about Black history. And so when I got older and learned more, I just felt really uh, moved to dedicate my life to uplifting my people. And so I was in an organization, and that is one of the things that we did. We all took a pledge to uplift our people. And so,
Ashe.
yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful group. We did some things. We were in Florida, Tallahassee, so we did some freedom fighter type things there. I remember, um, I don't want to get it. I got so many stories. I'm trying to just keep
Take your
it,
time, sister. Take
but
your time, sister Moot.
I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, we were on that path. I felt truly guided to just learn more, and to find a way to help my people. And especially after I became a mother, I wanted to be able to teach my son the things that I did not learn as a child, about spirituality and culture and stuff like that. And so, that was a big motivation for me, was to be able to, have a great wealth of information to share as a mother and a parent to, be able to help my children to have a better life. And I did a lot of teaching and learning. I did work in some of the Black schools. This was in the 90s. And it was very good. I love to work with children, and it helped me to develop myself as a teacher, I would say. Also, I was led spiritually to deal or work with some African centered or African traditional spiritual systems. So I, became aware of the Akan and the Yoruba tribes and began to, work with them and attend rituals. And I would say my spirit got opened up. And I went through sacred
Shay.
healing, from Mama Queen Afua, as well as getting my Reiki attunement around the year 2000. So I was, on this path, and then it just seemed like the door just opened up. So many things open for me that I've just felt drawn to. Like my spirit was saying, this is for you, go here, try this, do that. And I did. And it eventually um, led me to writing the books and to teaching and doing the work that I'm doing right now.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Ashe. Um, that is one of the things when you had asked me earlier in the green room was, how do we come up with Reya'Sekhmet's name? And there was one piece that I just dawned on me that helped guide us to you, and that was we had did an interview with a sister, Maatkara, and I believe she said that you helped her with coming into her divine name, and so through that discussion was another roadmap leading us to you. So dua to you for that as well, sister.
Ashe. Baba, I would like to give some praise to Sekhmet. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, is that okay with you, Sister Moo?
Dua, Baba. So, family, I wanted to give some praise to the Nectar Sekhmet, or the Sekhmet within all of us. Sekhmet, great one of healing, great one of laws, beloved of Ra, her father, beloved of Ptah, her divine reflection, protectors of the divine order, Sekhmet the Great, Dua. And family, I learned that in Auntie's book, Reiki Level 1.
Ashe, Ashe.
Ashe. So, Auntie, we usually say this part for later in the show, in fact, toward the end, but we think it's such an important topic that we wanted to bring it up now. And that is the significance of one's names. Names aren't just names, they're a big part of who we are, at least for us. I've been learning a lot about how names in ancient Kemet carried deep meanings. Did you know that the Temple of Karnak had inscriptions with names of Nesephates and leaders that reflected their purpose and connection to the divine? Or that the throne name Aakhu'Ra of Hatshepsut, who by the way was one of the baddest women to rule Kemet, means truth and balance is the Ka of Ra. Names were more than just names. They're like your map to your destiny. I say all of that to say, Auntie Moo, I know that your name is super special and it holds so much power. Can you share the story of how you came to have the name Rekhit, Kajara, Nia, Ya, Nebthet, and what does it mean and how does it connect you to your divine purpose?
Yes, yes, I can. And names definitely are important because we hear our names almost every day through our lives. When people call our names, it reminds us of who we are. And in ancient times, we had names that were in alignment with the energy that we're born with. And so I I have a bunch of names actually. And the name Kajara actually came to me when I was about 14 years old. And I was a model in those days. And I had to have a cute name that would go along with my model persona. So I just remember laying on my bed and just thinking, what is my name? What is my name? What is my name? Now I look back and I realize I was meditating, right? So I went into a deep meditation and I heard, your name is Kajara. And I was like, Kajara? Ooh, that's a very different name. I've never heard a name like that, but I liked it. And so I decided to use it, for my model purposes, my business purposes. And which, I used it for maybe 3 years and then I pretty much dropped it and almost forgot about it completely. As I was on my journey, um, I reached a time where I began to create jewelry and other things. I was making all types of different instruments. And so I met a woman who became my godmother. And she actually told me that I had a spirit like Asada Shakur. So I actually took that name, Asada, when I was in, I would say, early 20s. And I resonated with it, as a freedom fighter. I felt it, so I used it. Then for my business, um, I took the name Nia because Nia means purpose. The name Asada it means she who struggles.
Mm-hmm.
So I did carry that name for many years. Nia was my business name, so I used that because a lot of people could not say Asada. So just to keep it real simple, I told them just call me Nia. And then Yah came along when I worked with the Akan people because it means born on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday. So Nia Yah was also a name I went by for many years, the short version, easy version, I would say. And then I reached a point when I got to working with the sacred women, and that is where the name Nebthet came from.
Mm-hmm.
So Nebthet means the lady of the house, and basically is one who one who sets sacred spaces, I would say, among other things, of course. Nebthet is also, a netret, like Sekhmet. So
Mm-hmm.
I did take that name, and then I got to a point where the spirit guides told me that I was to stop using the name Asada and that my name was Kajara and that I needed
Mm-hmm.
to go back and use that name again. So I took that motion, that step, and that is where Kajara Niyaya Nebthet came from. So Kajara is with the spirit of Ra.
Mm.
That's
And
so
Nia,
powerful.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Nia is purpose, with the purpose. Ya is an activation. It means like to activate your energy. So with the spirit of Ra, my purpose is to activate the sacred spaces for our people to heal. It's basically
Beautiful.
meaning.
Beautiful.
Thank
Ashe. It's like your name is a reminder of your divine purpose and your connection to our ancestors. It makes me feel like every time someone says your name, they're calling on that power and energy. And Auntie Moo, for your information, my name Reya'Sekmet combines Reya, which means a divine connection to Ra, the creator, or Re, in some circles, symbolizing light, guidance, and wisdom. And Sekhmet, the nectar of war, defense, protection, and healing. Together, Reya'Sekmet represents a powerful blend of all those things.
Ashe. And I know you've been, I told you, Sister Mood, she's been itching to tell you, for herself on her divine name. But the one thing that I do want to mention to that is, and that was beautiful what you said, Rhea, and that is, I think that it will solidify what my divine reflection and I came up with as far as naming her Reya'Sekmet is to sit down with you and go through that and do a name reading to see if we were actually in alignment with the name that we chose for her, with the ancestors. So, and again, that's something that we can talk offline and have that discussion in a deeper sense.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
And, just like I described, my names came and, some were added, some were taken. So I feel like that is a part of our process now in the times that we're in because we're not completely following our traditions and, living that village life. But that doesn't mean that our intuition is not working. So
Um,
I would definitely be open to checking on that for your beautiful segment, baby. But I feel like it's probably in alignment because
yeah.
for her to be doing this, at her age, it speaks to her power,
She's definitely owning it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
the
Yeah.
light that's in her. It's
Auntie Moo,
obvious. We can all see it. So,
Auntie Moo, I'm wondering for the people listening who might feel like their name doesn't really fit them or they want a name that connects them more to their true self. It's a naming ceremony, something anyone can or should do for that matter.
Well, I do offer naming ceremonies, but it starts off with a name reading to find the name that is in alignment. And then the ceremony is something that can be added if you would like to have that. And I do, facilitate both, of course. So
Yeah.
I think I probably named over 150 people in the last 15 years. And it's something that I do love to do. I do appreciate it.
And we're thankful for it. And because I can deeply relate to your journey, like you, I too went through a sacred naming process that you helped me with. And so dua to you, sister, for helping bring my new name, my true name forward. And some know me by my former name, and that was given by my parents, and some know me by Reya'Sekhmet. But after the name reading with you, Sister Moot, the ancestors had spoken, and I'm embracing my new name, of Aakhu'Ra Pasa Unk. I say it and I say it, and it resonates. And for those, for the family who may not know, Aakhu'Ra Pasa Unk means one who grows strong and lives with the wisdom of the ancestors. In real talk, Sister Moot, it was an act of liberation, reclaiming of some sort of my identity and my divine purpose that has been waiting for me all of this time, right?
Ashe.
Sure. So, Sister Moot, how do you see the naming ceremony as a spiritual doorway to realignment and growth? And what advice would you offer to those considering such a profound step in their own journey of having a name reading?
Well, it is very much like what you said, a way to reclaim yourself, your true self, your lineage, your power. Um, many people do have the surnames of their enslavers, like the ones who enslaved our ancestors. We took on their names, or not we, but those in that lifetime took the names of their ancestors as part of their names, which is how many of us got our surnames. So when we free ourselves from those European names, it's definitely a way to tune into our true legacy, our true culture, our traditions, and our power again, because the power in the name is there. It's always there. It lasts throughout your lifetime. So understanding that will help us to be more conscious when we're naming our children, and even in making the decision to rename ourselves, because it is a mark of freedom, I would say. If that's how it feels for me. And I know for many others, it's a part of a rebirthing process. When you get to a certain level of consciousness, then you want to have a name that feels, more in alignment with you. So the birth name that I was given, I never really liked it. It's a German name. And, it was really easy for me to let that name go because I didn't feel like it was who I am. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that, you know what I mean? So I feel, it's an important step on that process of healing and self-discovery and self-determination, the Kuchi Chagulia. You all celebrate Kwanzaa?
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, Kuji Chagalia. What does that mean?
Self-determination.
Right.
And we have to be
our own name.
Self-determining, self-defining, self-respecting, and self-defending.
And that's our way
of being Kuji Tagulia.
All right, absolutely. Hey, baby.
Yeah, she's on it. She's
I'm
on it.
telling you, it's exciting to see. I love it.
For Ashe, for all my young Ma'atians and Mi'atians becoming, let me tell you a story to help you understand what Baba Hassan and Auntie Moot shared. Think of it this way. A long time ago, there was a girl named Hatshepsut. She was chosen to lead her people, but before she could, she had to go through a sacred ceremony to receive her throne name. Her throne name, Maatkara, means truth and balance, is the ka of Ra. And it wasn't just a title, it was a key that unlocked her true self. Every time she heard her name, it reminded her of her strength, her wisdom, and her connection to Ra and Ma'at. So, family, just like Hatshepsut, Auntie Moot went on a divine journey to find a name that reflects her purpose and power. And just like her, we all have names that carry our stories and missions. If you ever feel like you're ready to grow into a name that fits your true self, just remember that you can find your own secret key too.
Ashe.
Ashe. So, Auntie, I've been thinking a lot about my own connection to our ancestors. If I wanted to start learning from them, what's the first thing should I do? Is it something I just feel in my heart, or do I just start talking to them?
That is a really good question. I would say the first thing that you should do is to find out who your ancestors are, find out their names, write a list of the names of the ancestors that you want to honor. So some ancestors lived in a way that deserves to be honored. They lived good lives, they helped people, and so on and so on. Some people did not live like that. So we don't want to put their names on our ancestor list because they will not be able to help us. Okay. So finding out who your ancestors are, where they come from, and any stories that you can about them is really helpful. If you can get a recorder and go take it to the elders in your family so that they can tell you the stories about your ancestors, that is the best way to do it because you can have them to listen to and to share with others. And we all should know what kind of people our ancestors were. Did they grow food? Were they hunters? Were they, did they work in the horse, what you call it,
Mm-hmm.
stable, whatever it was? Those stories mean a lot. So we want to find out the stories. We want to find their names. Once we get the names, we can begin to pour libations for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say a prayer in which we have a container, a glass of water, and we'll pour a little bit of water every time we say one of the ancestors' names. And when we do that, it's like we're feeding them. The water becomes like electricity. It's like food. It's like water. It feeds their spirit. So you do that just about every day, really. And that helps to build your connection with your ancestors so that you can communicate with them. So after you pour the libation, you're basically calling them and saying, hey, I'm giving you some water. Come and talk to me. Okay. So after you do that, then you say your prayers. You say thank you for whatever you want to thank them for. And then you can make your request to ask for whatever you want to ask about. If you want them to show you something or teach you something, whatever you want to ask, you can ask them. And they will answer right away sometimes, but not all the time. Sometimes you got to kind of wait for the answer. But just know that if you consistently pour the libations and call their names, they will communicate with you. You will also, make offerings of the water is great, but candlelight is nice. Um, some incense sometimes, maybe even sing a song for them, doing things like that, for them is another way to honor and connect with
Ashe, Ashe. And we burned our candles, we burned our incense. We had that going. Well, the incense going as you were tapping in, and we did light a candle. So we are definitely reaching out and doing our part and communicating. So I just sometimes I get caught as a fan of the show, Sister Mood, and so I'm just listening to you, and you definitely taking us to school, but sometimes I'd be forgetting that I'm on the show as a co-host, so I got a couple of questions. Because I'm just saying that because, and I'm being my authentic self. I'm just listening to your words, and I'm reminded of the sacred journey of our Ka, which returns us to deeper understanding as we evolve. And our ancestors knew that, that transformation comes through initiation. So I say that to say, where we shed our old layers of being and step into new ones. I imagine you walked through many of these sacred thresholds, moments when your inner voice, the voice of your Ka, guided you through challenges and uncertainties that required deep trust. Could you share more about those initiatives and how did they prepare you to embody the principles of Ma'at, not just for yourself, but as a guide for others?
Ooh, that's a big question there. So
little bites.
yes. When you make the decision to walk the spiritual path, you really open yourself to work with the spiritual realm. And when that happens, that is where magical and mystical things can happen.
Mhm.
Things that we cannot necessarily explain, because it happens. So I've had quite a magical life, um, for true. And I would say one of the things that really helped to put me on the path was, I mentioned that I had been a model for some time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided that, I was done with that and I was going to go and live this natural life, grow my locks, and go down this spiritual path. And then I got a call to come back and do some fashion shows. So I said, okay. And I went and combed my locks out. They were little tiny new fresh locks. So I combed them out, put a perm in my hair, went on back to do the fashion shows and stuff. And I would say maybe within 2 months, I had a car accident. I was in a car accident
Mm-hmm.
and cut my head. It's still a bruise in my head. My head hit the windshield, so I had a gash. And the man said, "Well, you won't be able to wash or do your hair. It's going to take maybe 6 months or so for this gash to heal up. So you want to be real gentle with your head." And I really took that as a sign for me to go back to growing locks. It was just like I couldn't keep going down that path. And I had to turn myself around to, going down this natural path that I
Sure.
had started to make, moves on. So, that was one of the most drastic spiritual occurrences, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout my time, it's been, I would say, when I went to Kemet, to Egypt a few years ago, um, I saw images of Sekhmet probably in every temple that we went to. And
Mm-hmm.
there is one temple there where there's a statue of Sekhmet. And they have it locked up. You don't even know
Okay.
it's there unless you ask.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the other statues pretty much have been removed out of those temples.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this one statue of Sekhmet. So we went there to the statue and, we chanted and felt her energy. And we have a picture where it's like you could see all this energy moving in the picture from being in that area because the statue is thousands of years old, so this energy on there. And so after that, it's like I just kept seeing cats everywhere we went. And we went to another temple where there were pictures on the ceiling. And I looked up where I was standing, walked in, stopped, and looked up, and I was standing right underneath Sekhmet. And so it's stuff like that that just, helps to remind me that the spirits are always working. The ancestors, the spirit guides. Great Mother Sekhmet is busy. She could show up in my dreams, or like I said, just, where I go, she's there, she's there, she's there. So those are some examples.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just that, I love how spirit works things out where, if you're open, you just have to let things flow and go with the flow. Listen to your intuition and follow what you hear and trust that it's going to get you to where you need to be when you need to be there.
I say, and that's one thing that, and maybe Rhea would talk about it, is that she not only has dreams of Sekhmet and communicating with Sekhmet, and she has taken the liberty to write down her thoughts and her correspondence with the Great Mother Sekhmet, to the point where for her being 8 years old, to put it in a story, and for her to tell it back to us has been profound. And I thought that was the solidification that her name was right on for us. But just to, as we talk to you and just hear what your story also gives us that recertification that we were or are on the right track, especially when it comes to her. You want to tell Sister Moot about some of your stories and when it comes to Sekhmet?
Yeah.
Okay, share one. We'll see.
So, I have this one story, and that's my favorite story. Do you want to hear it?
I do.
So, I had this dream. It was where I was in a temple with Sekhmet, and she was showing me all around the temple. And then I saw this one statue of her. And it had the statue of Sekhmet. It was just in that thing. Like, it was in Africa, and you said it was locked up. Yeah.
But the dream that you had, it was with her sister too, wasn't it?
Yeah. Set was right there.
Okay.
She was right there too.
Yeah.
And then I just woke up. So I thought that was actually reality, because if it wasn't, I would be so happy.
Ashe.
Ashe. Okay, and Auntie Moo, I want to make sure I understand this clearly. You started by feeling connected to something bigger, like our ancestors and their wisdom, and over time, those moments of connection grew into a whole life purpose for you. Did I get that right, Auntie?
You did, actually. Yes. Your purpose, you're born with a particular purpose, and you may not remember. And now you may remember yours, but most of us in our generation, we did not remember our purpose until later in life. However, if you follow your intuition, the things that you are into, you'll find are part of your purpose. So when I was younger and I started studying about crystals and herbs and different things in healing. At the time that I was doing that, I just liked to do it. It was interesting. So I would just truly say that, when you're following and doing what feels right for you, is going to lead you exactly where you should be. So I feel like, you already are on that path because you're out here doing the interviews, sharing information and learning. Every time you do it, you learn something as well. And that is going to give you more to teach. So I'm excited to see. I want you to stay in touch with me because I'm definitely excited to see you grow and to see how you continue to evolve and develop. And, whatever I could do to support and assist you,
Ashe.
definitely here for that. That's what Aunties is for.
Yeah. So when I heard about the Rey'Sekhi Arts Temple, I thought, wow, Auntie Moo is doing her thing. Can you tell us about the Reya'Sekhi Arts Temple and what happens there, and how it is like those temples in Kemetic where people went to learn,
Yes, yes. So the Reya'Sekhi Arts Temple was born after I became attuned as a Reiki master, and that's another spiritual story. I learned how to do Reiki, and my teacher was told that he should give me all three level attunements at the same time. At that time, it wasn't too many Black people doing Reiki. We didn't know much about Reiki. We had heard of the laying on of hands, but Reiki was a little bit scary to a lot of Black people. So I, at that time, began to teach Black people about, Reiki is just energy healing and, that type of thing. And I was guided to teach Reiki to our people and to go to cities where there's high numbers of Black people to teach us how to heal using energy because we had forgotten about our own energy and how powerful we are. And so that is a part of my purpose is to, so uplifting our people and sharing light is what I do. And so I was told, this is what we want you to do this. Go out here and start teaching. And, I did. I didn't really have an idea that it would turn into a temple. Okay. I just was following these directions. And then over time, I went from sharing little pieces of paper handouts for the lessons to publishing the books and having a few hundred students who became the Reya'Sekhi Arts Temple. So Reya'Sekhi was the name given to me to use because Reya'Sekhi basically means Reiki. It's the Ra, the energy of Ra. The Sekhi is our personal life force energy. So that, evolved and expanded and grew um, over the years. So I started teaching in 2007. And I would say the temple was probably born somewhere around 2012, something like that, where we became a little bit more organized. And I at this time have taught and attuned over 2,000 people all over the world, actually.
Wow.
I do have students all over the United States, but there are some in other countries. I have a teacher in Japan and one that goes back and forth to Ghana, and a couple in Jamaica that do Rey'Sekhi. So, it is a pleasure. I'm always grateful that I was chosen to do this work, to share healing energy with my people, because it's a time when we need healing. Our people are really suffering, self-hatred, sickness and diseases of the mind, body, and spirit. And so, I'm thankful to be able to say I've taught a lot of healers. People who are doing the healing work out there right now came through Rey'Sekhi at one point, and that's what I was born to do. So I do my best at it. It's definitely not easy, because I'm dealing with people who need healing, and hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
So, it's something that I constantly have to continue to recharge to do. But it's my pleasure, it's my joy, it's my passion, to help my people. So that is what Reya'Sekhi is all about. We do Kemetic Reiki, which is restoring Reiki to its more ancient roots, because we know that all healing modalities have their roots in ancient Kemet. The medical tools that they use in the hospital to this day, there are pictures of them on those sacred sites on the walls, and
Facts.
I saw it for myself. So, that is the reality. And for us to know how to heal ourselves using our energy, how to better ourselves, how to balance and master ourselves, even that is what we need so that we can have stronger families and stronger communities all over
Yeah.
the world.
And dua to you, Sister Moot. And that's why Reya'Sekhmet does her podcast, is to give flowers while everyone is here, especially those who don't get the public notoriety on mainstream platforms. So dua, dua, dua to you.
Ashe. So it's like a special place where people can learn how to feel strong inside and connect to ancestors. Am I correct?
Yes, well, it's not one special place. We actually have teachers all over the country. So we're working to establish temples in other cities as well. So right now, it's I do a lot of work virtually, and I travel. We do have our base here in Atlanta. And then, as I said, we're looking to set up some other spaces because I have teachers who are teaching as well as practitioners who are practicing. And so we want to just, get it. I would love to have like a Rey'Sekhi type thing, that how they have urgent care centers all over. We have
Sure.
Rey'Sekhi centers all over in our communities.
That would be awesome.
Really good. Absolutely.
I was thinking, what about kids? Do you have young people like me come to the temple? If so, what kinds of things can kids learn, especially when it comes to Kemetic traditions?
So I do have 3 children's books, and they are books that I would say are easy readers. So I get energy from the sun, and I am mind, body, and spirit. Those books are for, I would say, ages 3 to about 7 or 8, the early readers. Then we have the Light as a Feather, 42 Laws of Ma'at for Children. And that is for about your age. So it teaches young people about the laws of Ma'at. And we do want to help our children to know about Ma'at, to know about their energy and how to eat, different things, how you could keep your energy light and pure. So we do. I have children and grandchildren, so I definitely do not leave the babies out. Um, Also, we do allow children to come to our classes,
Okay.
level 1 class, I would say, but usually when they reach the double digits, so around the age of 10, um, because most young people can understand basic things about energy at that time. So we do leave that open, and we don't, the babies don't pay the same price as the grown folks. So
Sure.
always work with the families because we're happy for them to come through. And we do have a few Rey'Sekhi babies who grew up, with their parents doing the work, coming to classes, to retreats, and everything like that. So whenever you're ready, baby, come on. I definitely have to say, do you have the any of our children's books?
We have the Light as a Feather, and
We get energy from the sun, that one.
yeah, we get. Yeah, she has them.
Okay, all right, wonderful.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure because I would definitely send it to you if you don't.
Yeah. I know she has the Light as a Feather for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know, but you know what? We're talking about kids, but I'm wondering, how do you help grown-ups who might have forgotten how to live with and or in Ma'at? And is it harder for grown-ups to relearn these things?
Whew, that is a great question. And we do the classes and retreats and other events for grown-ups. And I know from my own experience, for myself and with working with others, we have dealt with a lot in this country specifically. We have to live with racism and oppression, and who knows what other things we might have gone through. So I find that the individual person and their journey determines their process. So there are some people who have a lot of things to heal from and some just less things. And, if you don't have a lot, if you weren't traumatized from childhood through adulthood, it's a lot easier. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people in our community that go through childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And going through it without having a counselor or a therapist, without having someone to even help you understand what you're going through, it makes the process of healing a lot more difficult, and it can take much longer. So, for example, I have some students and clients who went through some childhood trauma and may not even speak about it until they're in their 30s. So, holding on to pain, anger, and other emotions for 20 or 30 years, that is really hard to heal. And it takes a lot of time, a lot of love, and a lot of effort to heal from that type of trauma.
Ashe. And Auntie Moot, I know that Sekhmet Rising is a sacred guide that helps us connect with the great mother healer herself. Sekhmet is powerful. She clears away what no longer serves us and ignites the fire of transformation within. I've heard that your book includes prayers to her, and I love the idea of calling on Sekhmet when we need healing and strength. For those just beginning their journey with Sekhmet, how do you recommend they approach your prayers? Is there a specific mindset or sacred space that helps deepen the connection to her energy?
Well, I would say in dealing with Sekhmet and any African deity, you always want to approach with respect, humility, and in an honorable way. And so Sekhmet specifically is seen as a lioness, right? So we know that lions and lioness can be very fierce. Usually they are fierce protectors and hunters. So they're not always just, walking around with their fangs out. But if they need to, they will show the fangs, right? And so with that, we want to make sure that we have our hearts light when dealing with Sekhmet, as much as possible. No one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes, and that's fine. But we also want to be on the path of living right. We do our best, and sometimes we fall short, but definitely that's important in working with Sekhmet. Come with a good, open heart, right? And
Absolutely.
then calling her names is the way to get her attention. Usually, if you call enough of Sekhmet has 100 names or more. You can call maybe 30 or 40 names, and you might feel a little bit of heat inside of your body because she is a fire goddess. So she tends to warm us up. And that is also a sign to know that she, is connected with you and you are connecting with her.
Ashe.
Family, drop some hearts, power fist, thumbs up, or any emoji that represents the fact that you like this discussion that we're having right now. Or drop a comment right now showing your support for this discussion and this channel. And if you would like to support this channel, you can do so by being a book fairy and give a gift of a book. This information is embedded in the video and the description below.
Yeah. And so, Sister Moot, Sekhmet is often seen as the fierce protector, as you said, as we all know. But she's also the great healer who restores balance when chaos threatens harmony. In Sekhmet Rising, you guide readers in invoking her energy for healing, purification, and transformation. I know this because my divine reflection has the book, to which I think I'm going to have to go and get my own copy now because she's not giving it back. But beyond the words of the prayers themselves, in all seriousness, what deeper intentions or energetic shifts should one embody when calling upon Sekhmet? And this may be, you may have touched on it, but I just wanted to just to make sure that the listeners understand clearly, and that is, how can those that practice ensure they are not just saying the prayers, but truly aligning with her powerful force?
Well, it starts with your understanding. And so understanding that Sekhmet is the energy of Sekhem, which is life force energy. And life force energy flows through all of us. Also, it flows through all things natural. So the trees, the plants, the animals and bugs, and everything has life force energy. So taking time to connect with nature is another way to be sure that you're connecting with Sekhmet's energy. Doing conscious breathing exercises, because your life force energy flows through your blood and your breath. So when you're doing like deep breathing or fire breaths, you're definitely, connecting with that energy of your life force and the life force of all, everything has that. One other thing I would mention is the blood, keeping your blood clean and pure. So eating healthy foods, taking herbs to clear toxins from your blood, and things like that also help to make sure that you embody that energy of Sekhmet, because she is the great mother healer and the destroyer of evil. And evil is chaos, confusion, negativity, and toxins, disease, all of that is in that category. So we're making sure we're healthy, we're living in alignment with the energy of Sekhmet as
well. Absolutely.
Okay, Auntie Moo, it's time for a question from the segments. This is where I ask you a light, fun question.
Okay.
So, Auntie, I think they're like treasure chests full of ideas that can change your life. I found out you've written more books like I Get Energy from the Sun and Light as a Feather. For our listeners, these books aren't just about learning, they're about feeling connected to yourself and the world around you. Auntie, what inspired you to write these amazing books? And was there a moment when you realized you had so much wisdom that you had to share it?
I love your questions. So I was definitely inspired to write my children's books because I used to read to my children when they were young. I read them stories every night until they learned how to read themselves, or, as much as I could, because I just felt that was so important. And I noticed that there weren't a lot of stories that talk about chakras and energy
Mhm.
and spirituality from our perspective. So I definitely, wanted to add to that collection. And with the loss of my eye, I found that they are very helpful for teaching good character to children. And I think that's so important. So I wanted to do that, not just for my own children, but for all the children, because, they got to have friends. My children need friends who live in my art as well. So that was a big part of that process. As far as writing other books, believe it or not, I never thought I would be a writer. It's not something that, I aspire to do. However, it is similar to what you said. I felt like I did have a lot of information, and it became really easy to publish books. And I just felt that that was another sign for me to take that step and become an author and share. And so once I started, and you had my first book here, the Kemetic Reiki Level 1 is the first book, and it was the manual for our class.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I put out the Level 2 book, and then I feel like I just needed to have other books because as I was gaining more students, I wanted to give them, like, here's some healthy recipes so you can eat more healthy. Here's a book of prayers so that you can, find some prayers to say outside of the ones that you learned as a child. And
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much how things continue to progress. I just wanted, not even me, I was guided to bring forth these books to share, to help, with the classes and with our people to have more information about being healthy.
Much respect.
O'Shea. And so, Auntie, I've
Yeah.
noticed that when I eat fresh fruits and vegetables and things full of natural energy, I feel strong and balanced. But when I eat processed foods or things with lots of sugar, I feel sluggish, like my body is heavy and not working the way it should.
Okay.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering, how does cleansing and nurturing the gut? And for my 8 to 12-year-old listeners, I'm talking about poop.
So you made another good point that eating food that is toxic, sugar and meat and other things, chemicals and preservatives, it is more difficult for our bodies to digest those types of things. And so it causes us to want to sleep more or make us, more tired because our bodies have to digest that food, that heavy food. On the other hand, fruits and vegetables actually digest pretty quickly. So, for example, watermelon digests in about 30 minutes to an hour. After you
Mm-hmm.
eat some watermelon, it goes through your body because it's such a light food, it's very watery, and the body can process it easily. So that is why you might want another piece of watermelon after the first one about an hour later. But it is, it's a real thing that we need to be more conscious of what we're eating because there are a lot of, I don't even want to call it food, but so-called foods out there, the fast foods and the packaged foods that have just a lot of chemicals. So we want to avoid those things as much as possible so that we can keep our guts healthy, so that our bodies can, digest what we are consuming easily, and we could keep that energy, that sunlight energy. Because when we eat healthy, we feel good. I'm on a raw food fast right now myself, so I'm definitely feeling that lightness, which you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, we all benefit when we feel lighter.
Absolutely.
Auntie, I've noticed that when I'm stressed or upset, my stomach feels tight, like it's holding on to something it doesn't want to let go of. And when I'm happy and calm, everything feels smooth and relaxed. I read that our gut is connected to our emotions.
Mm.
And even though I'm young, I know when something feels off inside me. So I was wondering, how does emotional strength like stress or trauma affect our gut? And what healing practices energy can come from the digestion system?
So yes,
Good
the
question.
way that we feel, it is a great question. She is so smart and bright. So the way that we feel definitely plays a part on our bodies and our organs and how they operate. And different emotions actually are associated with different organs. So the stress, you feel that in what we call the stomach or the gut area. It gets tighter because it's that energy, even though you can't see it, the pressure of the stress, it causes the organs to constrict, so we'll feel that. And we do want to find some alternatives when we feel stressed so that we're not just walking around angry or upset. Maybe we need to do some deep breathing or
Mhm.
maybe do some meditation to help us to calm down. I know that's something that I really practice when I hear something that I might not be happy about. I just try to breathe. Let me just breathe. Okay, before I even react, I'm just going to breathe so that I can stay calm mentally and then I won't have, all the reactions going on in my body. So I want you to try that. When you feel stressed, breathe. Just in through the nose and hold it and then out. And if you sigh, that feels even better.
Ah.
Ah.
Yeah, that helps you get it all out. So always remember that because stress can be very harmful to your body.
Ashe, ashe.
Okay, family. Here's what I gathered from what Auntie Moo has taught us today. Imagine that your gut is like a sacred garden when it's healthy. The plants, your energy, and strength go strong and tall.
That's
But
true.
when weeds or toxins get in the way, the garden struggles to thrive. Sekhmet's fire is like a magical cleansing tool. It helps clear out the weeds so your garden can flourish again. So if you don't remember anything else, remember to eat foods that feed your divine garden. Drink plenty of water and let Sekhmet's energy guide you in releasing what no longer serves you. That way, you'll stay in harmony with Ma'at and your divine self. And remember, you have the power to cleanse, heal, and restore balance just like our ancestors did. So don't get stuck in your poop.
You like saying that word, don't you? Ashe. So, Sister Moot, how can one get a hold of you if they have questions, want to sign up for sessions, purchase merch, or just want to connect? Also, do you have any way for the family to show their appreciation and or donate or some way for the family to support?
Okay. Yes. We have our Reikihealing website, which is the site that has the classes and retreats and some of the products. And then we have the Rey'Sekhi store site, which has more products because we have herbal remedies and other things, the oracle cards. We have 12 books. So everything is listed on our Rey'Sekhi store site for people who want to buy products, for people who want to do classes, Rey'Sekhi healing. Also, social media, you can look for Rey'Sekhi Arts Temple at Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We do our best to stay current as much as possible.
Absolutely.
And donations can be sent through our Rey'Sekhi Healing website, or you can send it directly to PayPal me /Rey'Sekhi Temple. And that's, well, Rey'Sekhi, you can see on the book, RASEKHITEMPLE. or look up Reya'Sekhi Arts Temple. We would love to work with you. I have teachers who are teaching Kemetic Reiki classes in Oakland, Long Beach, Atlanta, Tampa, Augusta, and I feel like I'm leaving somewhere. Oh, Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte area, Greensboro. So classes will be listed at reikihealing as well. And we would definitely love to work with you. We are here to assist our people in healing our minds, healing our bodies, healing our hearts and our emotions as well as our spirits.
And I'll we'll make sure that we'll get all your social media handles, and your website will be either embedded in this video or it'll be in the description as well when we post it on YouTube and things of that nature. So we just want to make sure that we have all the information that you wanted to share so that we can get it all embedded to help promote any way we can, because we see that you're doing is something that's definitely needed for the people, for our people, for Black people.
Thank
Auntie
you.
Moot,
Yes.
are there any current authors or scholars whose work you follow and find influential? And do you have any books or resources you would like to recommend to the family?
Yes, I always encourage that Kemetic Reiki level 1 and 2. And my most current books are the Revitalize Your Chakras workbook and Revitalize Your Chakras journal. So these books are really helpful for people who want to do the deeper healing and just more work on themselves. Um, Other authors that I suggest are Queen Afua, Baba Mfadishi. We have Ra Amen Nefer, the Asara Set Society. He has a great collection of books. We have Muada Ashby, who has a great collection of books about Egyptian history. Dr. Ben,
Mm-hmm.
um, Tony Anthony Browder,
Mm-hmm.
the John Henry Clark, um, Asa Hilliard, is the historians, because we want to know the history of our people, the true history, and especially now when they are working to erase our history, that just gives us more motivation. Oh, we ain't gonna let it die. We got books. They can't take the books.
Exactly.
So yeah, those are, and then we have our way Kwama. He wrote the book called The Healers. I don't get his name right, but it's an African author. The book
Okay.
is Healers, and then there's one that's called 2000 Seasons, and he has a few others that all of his books are excellent reads. They're
Okay.
more, I won't say fictional, but they're easier to read. They're not just straight history lessons. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure we look into all of those books.
Yes.
Now that you know a little more about Auntie Moo, support Auntie Moo on all social media platforms. Go over to our website, rasekhihealing.com, and support. I'm going there now. So don't meet me there, be me there. Don't take our word for none of this information we provided today. Do your research. And Auntie Moo, as we round out our discussion today, I want to give you the last final word to share with all of our young kings and queens becoming, or Nesepites becoming, on today's discussion.
So the thing that I like people to know is that we are powerful. Our thoughts are powerful because everything that we can touch was created with a thought first. Our words are powerful and we can manifest with our words. And our hands are powerful. We can make things with our hands. We can move things, project energy, and do so many things with our hands. So I want us to all know that we are powerful. And when we use our power wisely, when we use our power for our highest good, then we become unstoppable.
Ashe.
What we want for you, little Sekhmet baby, and all of your Sekhmet baby friends too. Know that you are powerful and use your power wisely. Move mountains, make stuff happen, because you can do it. We opening the way for you all to do that.
Dua.
Right, right. That's right, girl. Yes.
Dua,
You
Auntie.
already.
Work is
Yes.
Your work is so revolutionary, and I'm going to tell all my friends and family about the Rey'Sekhi Arts Temple. May your light continue to shine in the darkest corners.
Yeah, and Sister Mood, dua for guiding us in reconnecting with our divine essence. May your work continue to uplift the family who are ready to use and who are ready to rise.
There you have it, family. Until next time, please absolutely devour, treasure, and smash the like button and subscribe. Peace and love is the key.
Aakhu'Ra.
Aakhu'Ra. Dua.
Peace and love is the key. Ra'ah represents the essence of truth, justice, harmony, balance, order, and management, which is philosophy and righteousness.
J&J-Life podcast. The J&J-Life podcast was created to give the family a place and platform to embrace their spiritual awakening and consciousness. J&J-Life is dedicated to showcasing the beauty of our culture, educating our people and those that want to learn this work. Smash that like button. Peace and love is Nikki.